Hey, what's up, YouTube? We are coming to you not live from the center of the outskirts of downtown Houston, Texas, bringing you the most underqualified commentary on the week's hottest movie news to us. I got my good friend here, Daniel Knight Lewis, and we had a very uneventful week. Now, in a side note, this is not movie related, but a real hero,
good man,
has left us.
Yeah.
True and Kathy, I love you, sir. You brought so much chicken into my stomach. This one's for you, Truett.
God bless you, brother.
Rest in peace. There's no sweet tea in there.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's empty now.
Yeah.
It's too good.
Okay. Let's start it off with the weekend box office. Another uneventful week. We are like really in that slump phase between summer and fall movies.
Kind of slowing down.
Guardians of the Galaxy #1 again, 10 million. TMNT 6 million. If I Stay 5.7 million. Let's Be Cops 4.4 million. November Man 4 million. That movie's probably gonna make money. November Man.
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously a smaller budget action flick. So.
Yeah, 25 mil. That's a.
What did it do last weekend?
I think 12 or 9.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
It was low.
It'll probably make a little bit. It's obviously not gonna be a blockbuster, but
yeah, I'm just hoping they can at least cross their budget,
so we can get the sequel, December Man.
Yeah. Hopefully that one will come out in December.
Yeah.
As Above, So Below, 3 million. That movie probably, man.
Again, horror movies usually are lower budget, but it's not looking great.
But the box office, they'll probably clear. They'll probably make their money back. When the Game Stands Tall, 3.7 million. They have made their money back, so get ready for some spin-off or another movie of a similar fashion. The Giver, 3 million. 100-Foot Journey, 3 million. Sorry, Helen Mirren, I didn't see that movie. Please don't yell at me. Lucy, number 10, 1.9 million. Oh yeah. The Identical, which was the biggest movie opening this weekend, 1.9 million.
Woo!
Now that seems like, wow, that sucks, right? But I think this movie was made for like $10, so I think they're millionaires now.
Yeah, but when you factor in the marketing.
Oh yeah,
it's another 15, 20.
That was I might put them in the 3 digits.
I think their biggest expenditure was starting a Facebook page for it. So did a lot of heavy marketing.
Yeah,
on
they
that
outsourced that. So
yeah, I actually thought this was like a Netflix movie or something. The first couple of times I heard of it, I didn't actually think it was getting released in theaters or something.
Yeah.
Until I saw a trailer like a week or so ago.
Did you think the trailer was about Elvis, like I did?
Yes. Yeah, I totally did.
It's not.
Yeah, right. I mean, I remember hearing a synopsis the other day. Somebody was talking about it and how is essentially. My understanding is basically like a Christian film, or a Christian themed film.
Yeah. But it's apparently like Elvis had a twin brother.
Right.
That died.
I
or
think
something
so.
like that.
I don't know.
And this movie's like,
time.
this movie's like trying to play off of that fact, but say that he's alive. But then it's also not Elvis.
Yeah, it's a fictionalized based on the true event sort of story. I don't know.
Based on a fantasy version of the story?
Of a true notion?
Yeah. It's so weird. So weird. And then the songs sound like Elvis songs, but they're not. They're actually all original songs.
I just like seeing guys like Ray Liotta, who has killed so many people in film, be like, all right, I'm the preacher in this one.
Yeah.
Christian film, family friendly, let's go. And I'm like, way to branch out.
He's had an interesting career because, I think his big breakout role was in Goodfellas.
Right.
The Scorsese movie. And everyone says that is Scorsese's best movie, which I don't. That's not my favorite Scorsese movie, but, his career didn't really. It kind of peaked right at that movie, you know what I mean? And it's like...
He's a face you recognize, but you're not going to go to the theater just to see him.
Yeah, definitely not. I don't think people... Yeah. And I don't think a lot of people would even recognize him.
Yeah, they'd be like Ray Liotta? Oh, that guy.
Yeah, maybe I've seen this guy somewhere, somehow. Yeah. But, like, I just wonder, like, how do you be, like, one of the... Probably, like, in people's... Some people think Scorsese is one of the best directors of all time.
Right.
His best movie... a lot of people say that that's his best movie.
Yeah.
You're the star of that movie, and your career kind of peaks with that. You know what I mean? It seems hard, but I don't know. I guess some actors are they're perfect for that one role.
Yeah.
And then they're great in that role, but they don't have anything else they can.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's just like, with a band having like the one-hit wonder where they make $50 million or whatever on one song, and then their next album, like, a few people show up at the concert, not really much. They kind of peter out after that, and 10 years later you find out they're still touring, but in like a bunch of little villages you've never heard the names of and stuff like that. I mean, it's kind of like that. He's a professional actor. He's going to keep working. He's got a lot of straight to DVD stuff.
Yeah, he does.
He's done a lot of smaller films, and he's kind of a secondary character, sometimes on the smaller budget action films.
Yeah, he plays a lot of bad guys.
Yeah, he'll be that guy.
But
he's a recognizable face, but yeah, I mean, he's just...
I've seen him on some cable shows, actually.
I guess he just didn't have that it thing that people were like, we really want to see him more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So...
Yeah, well...
Oh, well.
Sorry.
It happens.
Okay, now before we get into the news, we have a very special... top 10 most anticipated movies of 2014, but just the fall.
Yeah.
Fall 2014 movie.
What's left of the year?
Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of Oscar bait and lots of budget reduction. Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Wait, so you're saying Transformers 4 wasn't on your list?
It did not. Well, it's 2014. That hasn't come out yet.
Okay.
So
otherwise.
If this was before that, it'd be number 2, number 1, probably number 0.
Yeah.
All
right.
Okay.
So you want to start with yours?
Yes.
All
now
right.
there are no rules to this, so. So my honorable mentions: The Guest. I don't know why that's on here. It just looks interesting to me. Tusk.
Which one is The Guest?
That one about the army guy that goes to stay at
the creepy one.
Yeah, it looks really creepy, and they got like this Ryan Gosling.
That reminded me of
guy.
that one with where he goes into her with Kate Winslet, and what's his name? Where he goes over there and he stays there as well. It reminded me of that, but he wasn't in the military.
I do not recall that one.
I'm really well prepared.
Look it up while I'm talking about my list. Okay, other honorable mention, Tusk, the Kevin Smith movie. So I think, what I'm thinking, that's been screening. It got a standing ovation at Toronto International Film Festival, TIFF, as we in the biz call it.
Canadians.
Yeah, and it's about Canadians, or it's about Canada or something.
Yeah,
so,
it happens in Canada, yeah.
So obviously they love it or hate it. Also on my number 10 list, The Judge. This movie, I would not even care about this movie if Robert Downey wasn't in it. Like, it looks like
Robert Duvall?
Yeah, sure. And if he's in a movie, I'll be like, hey, good job, Robert Duvall. You're still working.
Open Range was on today with Kevin Costner. He's awesome in that movie.
Open Range, is that an animated movie about chickens?
It's not.
But yeah, other than, like, if it wasn't for Robert Downey, I would be like, oh, that's probably going to be a great movie for, families and whatever. But, okay, other honorable mentions. Dracula Untold. Dracula Untold. There's so many Dracula vampire movies out, but I really like the guy, and I forget his name. You remember what that guy's name is?
Labor Day. That's the one with Kate Winslet and
then it's the same plot.
Josh Brolin. He comes in, stays with them for a little while. Anyway, that's what The Guest
the
reminded
movie
me
you were
of,
thinking of. Okay, thank you.
but it's totally different.
Okay.
I'm glad I looked that up.
Oh, and then okay, so Dracula. What's that guy's name in Dracula Untold?
I can't remember his name. He was the bad guy in Fast and Furious 6. He's been in a couple others. He's got that real kind of military look to him, real kind of tough.
Well, he's
and rugged.
super British too.
Yeah, he not just British.
Super British.
Super British.
Actually, he's not super British because I can understand him.
He.
It's not like Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
Yes.
Snatch.
What is it about anything that happens in Europe or the Middle East or really anywhere in the world? They have a British accent. Because Dracula is from Romania, I think.
Or Latveria? Lithuania? I don't remember.
Latveria is Dr. Doom.
Well, that's, all...
That's not even a real country.
If evil's coming from Europe, it's coming from Eastern Europe.
Transylvania is in Romania. And so that's with the mythology, obviously. Dracula's
but he's got a British accent.
But he has a British accent, yeah. So Romanians, you're British.
Well, everyone from Europe is British.
Just British.
They're British.
Just like anyone south of Texas. It's all Mexico. So,
yeah.
Yeah, it's all the same.
Okay. So, yeah, that looks... I like that guy, which I can't remember his name, but he's pretty cool, so I want to see that. And then Kill the Messenger with Jeremy Renner. Looks a little formulaic, but it looks like a serviceable political thriller. So...
Well, he's like one of the Bourne guys minus the killing,
And minus, 40 years.
Yeah.
70s, I think. So that still looks pretty good. So honorable mention there. Okay, now to my number 10s, which I believe I have 2.
Plural?
Okay, so my first number 10 is Men, Women, and Children, which is it's the same guy who directed Juno, I believe. And it's about the secret lives that people live on the internet, which I'm really interested to see if he makes that interesting. The trailer is a new edgy trailer because there's nobody says anything in it. It's all
pop-up
windows, text and what they're typing and stuff like that.
Right.
And so it looks pretty interesting to see how they deal with this. I don't know how relevant it's going to be because most people are pretty much okay with putting themselves out there on the internet, you know what I mean? So I don't know if it's going to get if it's going to be as relevant as they're trying to make it seem, you know what I mean? But who knows? It looks interesting. What would be interesting if nobody speaks in the film. That would be great.
That would be pretty interesting if they went that way and all did text. The
but
problem with that is...
Then it's going to be like a foreign film.
It's like a subtitle film. Yeah, you got to read the whole time.
Like a foreign film. And we can't handle foreign films.
But here's the thing. No one is going to leave the film saying the book was better.
Because it's not an adaptation of a book?
Yes. Because the whole point, people love reading books instead of watching it. The whole reason I go to the movies is because I don't want to read for 3 days to read it. 2 hours, over and done.
Americans.
Reading.
Okay. Now my number 9 is a little movie called Whiplash. With
Whiplash?
Whiplash. Okay. Yeah, with a non-silent H. And so this movie is about J. Jonah Jameson... and he has the secret passion on the side of his journalism for music, and he's teaching Mr. Fantastic about playing the drums. I believe this is a prequel to Fantastic Four
/ Spider-Man
/ well, it's same universe. Yeah. And so this is a prequel where all the Marvel characters are in the same universe. And J. Jonah Jameson likes to play drums, and he's directing this band. And Miles Teller wants to be. He doesn't have his powers yet, so he's experimenting in college with music and stuff, and he's, science isn't his main deal.
Parker!
Yeah, and so he's like, I want to play drums. And then J. Jonah Jameson is like, you're no good. Get back to your books, science stuff. So that looks pretty good. Also got a standing ovation. I don't know what movie hasn't had a standing ovation at a film festival yet, because that's all I've been hearing from every movie.
Well, people that go to film festivals, they're really excited about films.
Yeah. Or Drumline, I don't know. Is Nick Cannon in Whiplash? I don't know.
I don't think he is.
Okay, yeah. All right. Now, my number 8, I only have one here. Fury. And the reason this is number 8 is because I loved Inglourious Bastards, and this is like Inglourious Bastards Light.
That word.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, kids. This is a family show.
Earmuffs.
And so he looks like he's playing Bill Del Reyne's reprising his role as that character. So really excited for that.
Gorlami.
Yeah. Okay, now number 7, which I believe I only have one, Mockingjay. Hunger Games 3 Mockingjay Part 1. I believe that's the official title.
Yeah, it's got like 3 subtitles.
Yeah. So, obviously, Philip Seymour Hoffman, I want to see. Rest in peace, Philip Seymour. And I was never a huge fan. I haven't read the books. Have you read the book? No, you don't read.
No.
I haven't read the books.
Wow.
The first one was okay. Second one was great, though. I thought it really elevated the material. So, I want to see where Katniss ends up. I want to see, how hard PETA gets friend-zoned again in this movie, I'm sure. Is there a baby? Isn't there a baby? Were they lying, and now they're going to be telling the truth?
Scandalous.
Who's the father? I don't know. Is it Thor's little brother? Or is it PETA?
More importantly, how wide is Stanley Tucci's mouth going to open during his laughing?
That is the best. He is my favorite character in the Mockingjay.
He makes it watchable.
Hunger Games universe. Yeah. He is hilarious.
He's awesome.
I don't know if he's intentionally like they're trying.
Oh yeah, with the big giant fake teeth that he has.
They're like, hey, this is guy's comic relief, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so it's not unintentionally funny.
Yeah.
Okay, now what was that? Number 7. Okay, number 6. American Sniper. You probably haven't heard of this movie because it's like a really indie.
Should have.
It's a low budget, probably indie.
It's a lower end, but it's not. I don't know if I would go to classify it as indie.
Yeah, it's not indie. It's not indie.
Lower budgets. It's not
it's
as
a small release. It's
yeah.
like probably not going to get a wide release until like next year. But Bradley Cooper, Academy Award watcher, Bradley Cooper, and nominee. And nominee. He is playing American Sniper. What's his name? What's his real name again?
Chris Kyle.
Chris Kyle. Okay, it's based on a true story of Chris Kyle. We don't know when it's going to take place in his life, but he's the deadly sniper, most confirmed kills of any sniper ever in the history of mankind. And who is directing this movie? None other than Clinton Eastwood.
Mr. Tough Guy himself.
Yes, Gran Torino.
Yeah,
that was kind of disappointing, actually.
Yeah, he made that movie too.
But anyway, he knows how to direct a war movie, and I didn't see his last musical movie. What was it called? No Goodfellas?
No Goodfellas?
I can't remember. The musical. So
this won't be a musical.
As long as this movie isn't a musical, it is going to be great. I know for sure, okay? Clint Eastwood, Bradley Cooper, it's got to be great. So it's a recipe for success. Okay, number 5. I believe I have a couple of these. Oh, no, just one. Exodus of Gods and Kings. Yeah, Ridley Scott, he hasn't been on his A game the last few movies. I thought Prometheus. Did you see Prometheus?
I didn't mind Prometheus, yeah. It wasn't what I was expecting when they're saying, oh, it's a prequel to Aliens.
Yeah.
But it was very different from that. But I liked it.
I thought it was a serviceable sci-fi movie.
It was very cool looking.
Yeah,
visually it was very cool.
I'm sure it was probably disappointing to like the hardcore Aliens fans.
Yeah.
Because it didn't really answer any questions or anything. But it got me interested in Aliens, and I went back and watched all those movies. So those were great. Most of those before the crossovers.
Yeah.
Okay, number 4. Oh, well, anyway, this movie has a lot of talent in it. Aaron Paul is in it from Breaking Bad.
Exodus?
Yeah.
Really?
He's playing Joshua. Yeah.
Oh,
he hasn't been in any trailers yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Little known fact. Obviously, Christian Bale. I believe he's playing like a prehistoric Batman.
Is he playing Joshua, or is he... I thought... Are you sure you're not thinking of another movie? They're going to make another biblical movie with him in it, or that's this one?
Yeah, that's
okay,
one.
man.
Yeah.
I guess... Alright.
Yeah.
That sounds cool.
And then who's the guy
probably
playing Ramsey?
not going to drop the B word in this one.
Who's playing Ramsey?
Joel Edgerton.
Joel Edgerton?
No, he's playing Ramsey, and then...
Christian Bale is playing Moses.
The Dark Knight is playing...
I wonder if, like, whenever he turns into Moses, if he's going to use his Batman voice.
He doesn't turn into... He is Moses.
Yeah, but whenever he goes, like, Jewish Moses and not, like, Egyptian Moses, if he's going to change his voice any, you know? Because that's, like, his alter ego.
I don't think Jews have a different voice.
Well, I'm just wondering, you know, it'd be a nice creative twist. Okay, number 4. This is also a very unknown movie that you probably haven't heard of, Inherent Vice. Okay, Yeah, exactly. It's a book. It's being adapted into a movie by none other than Paul Thomas Anderson, who you probably don't know either. But he directed The Master and Punch Drunk Love and Boogie Nights or something like that.
A bunch of other movies you haven't seen made by a guy you haven't heard of from a book that you haven't read.
His movies are more on the artsy. They're on the artsier side.
A little bit of fartsy drawn in there.
A little bit, but they're not like so. They're not like so out there.
I mean, The Master was pretty widely, accepted and
it's like a great movie. And Joaquin Phoenix was in that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And Joaquin Phoenix,
future Doctor Strange.
He is one of the best actors working today. Like I really think that. Like he's up there like with the best of the best actors.
Oh yeah.
And so he's returning with PTA. That's what I call him, Paul Thomas Anderson. He's returning, and this movie sounds great. It's set in the 70s. Joaquin Phoenix has like
massive
like
lamb chops, sideburns.
Yeah, like they're like just hanging off his face.
Yeah.
And it's actually got Josh Brolin is in it, and a lot of other
A-listers. Josh Brolin looks like he belongs in that time frame, though. He really does.
Well, the Goonies. Okay, so that movie looks great. Very excited. Actually, the movie. It's kind of like a noir, like neo noir movie.
Yeah. Where
like a lot of things are happening. Read the premise for the book. It's crazy. It's like his ex-wife wants her to help him find her husband or something like that, and there's like a lot of other characters involved and stuff. It sounds like a really cool plot. Okay, now that was number 4. Okay, number 3.
How many of those do you have?
Just one. Okay, number 3, Foxcatcher. This movie looks like it's gonna give me those spine tingles that I love. Just to give me the shivers. It just looks great. Just watch a trailer for this movie and you'll be intrigued. I mean, Steve Carell looks nothing like Steve Carell.
No.
He does sound like Steve Carell, but I think in context of the whole movie, he's gonna totally turn into a whole other person. But this movie is being directed by that guy who directed Capote. His name escapes me.
Yeah.
But anyway, if you've seen Capote, Philip Seymour Hoffman, totally unrecognizable in that movie. Like he totally.
Yeah.
Like disguise himself in his acting, and so it looks like Steve Carell's going to be doing this again. Channing Tatum, this is probably going to be the best performance of Channing Tatum's entire life.
Yeah.
Like when people look back on his performance.
Better than
Step Up?
21 Jump Street?
I think so. Probably not Step Up though. That's probably going to be. He's got a lot to live up to in Step Up.
Toss up between this and Magic Mike.
Yeah. See, so which dancing is going to be better? The Foxcatcher dancing? Or Magic Mike pole dancing, or Step Up dancing. See, I don't know. That's going to be a fun one to talk about.
He does like to dance.
Okay, my number 2 pick. I have 2 number 2s. Okay, and my number 1 number 2 is Gone Girl, which just looks really great. Now it looks it looks a little bit like maybe a movie that we've seen before, but David Fincher does not disappoint. All his movies are like incredibly unique, so I have no doubt that this movie is going to blow our minds, even though I can't tell how it's going to yet. But I mean, if you've seen Fight Club, if you've seen The Game, a little lesser known. Have you seen that movie with Michael Douglas?
Yes. Yeah, that's a little older, but yeah.
Well, 2000, I think it came out in 2003 after Fight Club.
Yeah.
And then The Social Network.
I mean,
just like he just puts out great hit after hit. So I he's one of those directors where like
he makes a good story.
I at least very much like everything that he's done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, awesome. And then my number two is Birdman. Yeah. And this movie looks like it's going to be funny and then also kind of scary at the same time a little bit too. I don't know. But Michael Keaton. So it's got Michael Keaton and
Edward
Norton and Emma Stone and several others. But the movie, like this guy has only directed foreign language movies as so far.
Right.
So I haven't seen any of them, obviously, because I can't read.
From America.
So, yeah.
Go ahead.
But they're trying. I heard they were trying to make the whole entire movie one continuous shot.
Yeah, which is, I think there's going to be some
restraints on the
some editing tricks that are going to make it like that.
Yeah, it's not one.
It's not one
shot.
take.
Yeah,
it's yeah.
But they're doing some special effect wizardry to make it look like it all is one well shot.
It's not like that Steve Jobs movie where they're going to do like 3 scenes in one take or something. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's not.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's not happening.
It's not like that.
Actually, David Fincher dropped out of that movie, and Danny Boyle signed on to direct that.
I like that. I like Danny Boyle. Man.
Yeah,
that's a good fit.
He apparently wanted like $10 million or something like that. But I don't know. Who knows? So yeah, Birdman looks awesome. I heard that they actually have 40 minutes of it looking like one shot right now.
Kind of like the what's his name did in the first 20 minutes of Gravity, where they made it look like one continuous shot.
Also a Hispanic director. So I don't know. Maybe this
something
is a Hispanic thing.
Latino guys.
Yeah, I guess I got to do it then. I guess I got to do it as well.
We gotta have to.
Okay, and then my number 1 pick. This was easy for me.
No tie? No like 6-way tie?
No tie. This is a hands down winner, most anticipated movie of 2014. The rest of it. Interstellar. That's it. That's all I have to... Okay, why should you see this movie? I'll tell you why. Christopher Nolan is directing.
Nolan.
That's all you need to know. That's all I have to say about it. Christopher Nolan is directing. The most solid director of our generation. Well, maybe David Fincher's pretty solid too. But...
How many flops has Nolan ever produced?
None.
His worst movie, his weakest film?
The Prestige. Oh, financially or critically?
Yeah, overall, critically, I would say.
Critically is The Prestige.
Is it?
Yeah, it's still rated like in the 70s.
See, well, and like I really like that. I would say a toss up between that and Dark Knight Rises, as far as like his weakest films.
Yeah.
And The Prestige,
those are still awesome movies.
It was a really good movie.
Yeah.
And Dark Knight Rises, even if you thought that was the weakest of the 3 Batmans, did anybody not enjoy their time at the movies watching that film?
Yeah, it was still awesome.
Yeah.
And it still sealed it up nicely, I thought. So,
yeah. Okay, so good list.
Yeah. Interstellar, I have no idea what it's about. No idea, like
probably stars and
space.
There's a lot of dust on everyone's faces at the beginning.
Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
So I guess
single tear.
I guess Matthew McConaughey has AIDS or something.
Yeah.
And
we know he's going to be very thin at one point.
Yeah, and like the cure to AIDS is on another planet, I think.
Michael Caine reading poetry.
We know
that's in here. He's reading like Dickinson or something.
Now I will say that in the trailer, whenever what's her face,
the chick,
Princess Diaries, whenever she's like, love is the only thing that transcends space and time. I was like, what? No, don't say that. But it was just weird. It just felt weird. But I'm sure in context it'll be like, wow, yeah, you're right.
It seems like
it
one
does
of those
transcend space and time.
If it said something other than Nolan, as far as the make of the film, I would actually say, this looks like the film is trying to be too deep.
Yeah.
But because Nolan's in there, I'm like, no, I'm gonna walk away and my life is gonna be changed.
It is gonna be that deep, yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
All right. So
okay, now to your list.
Time for a real list, because this guy and his waffling and his 4 different 3-way ties and all this. No, here's a top 10 list. Okay?
There's no rules. You can't contain. You can't define me. Okay?
Some people can't make up their minds. It's okay. All
right, this is the secondary list.
Resolute.
Second.
This is the correct list. Okay, I'm gonna start with my number 10. Work up from there. Okay. So number 10, I'm going with Foxcatcher.
Wow.
Foxcatcher, and the only reason, first of all, I would like to say this movie looks fantastic. The transformative nature of these 2 characters, okay? The way that, again, and we've talked about this before, is based on a true story, based on true life events, which, you can Google it, Wikipedia, the whole thing. The actual events here, pretty dark content. They go to a bad place. Let's put it that way. Okay, it won't be a story that I think is like an enjoyable experience to see and go through. That's one of the reasons I put it at number 10. But as far as the way it's being told, and again, like you touched on, Magic Mike's performance in this, as far as Channing Tatum. I mean, not just Mike from The Office. Not just Steve Carell.
Steve Carell.
With the nose and everything, but it looks like they've done some prosthetics on the chin, like the jawline of Tatum.
Yeah.
They actually look like the real life persons that they're portraying on film. So that's always good Oscar baiting stuff out there.
If you can change your physical appearance somehow,
if you
get
look
really
different
thin,
somehow,
get fat, get thin.
Yeah.
Get prosthetics.
Have your jaw reconstructed, after breaking it with sledgehammer. Something to show that you're really committed to the role.
Pull out some of your teeth.
Yeah. Smash your head against a window.
Cut off a limb or something.
Whatever.
Let me ask you this. Have you, read in depth about the true story? This true story?
I've read a couple short descriptions of it. I haven't, researched it or anything. Just enough to kind of know where it goes and, not going to give any spoilers. Yeah, but let's just say there's some bad people there.
Okay, I haven't looked into this into the story at all because I want to be surprised.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's a dark film.
Yeah,
put it that way. Okay, but very powerful performances is what I'm expecting on this one. So looking forward to that one. Number 9, The Hobbit #3. Now this is definitely going to be a big blockbuster film. The reason I put it at number 9 is, even though I am looking forward to it because it is the culmination of this Hobbit trilogy, which is a prequel to the original Lord of the Rings trilogy, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it gets wrapped up and how they end the story leading into that next segment that we've already seen. I've never been a huge Middle-earth fan. I didn't read the books. I wasn't, one of these guys that grew up on it and was super pumped standing in line at 3 hours before the opening of the first movie. I wasn't one of these people. I've enjoyed them. I thought they were very cool, very well done, visually very stunning.
But you like the original Lord of the Rings trilogy, right?
I actually liked those better than I've liked the Hobbit ones so far, which isn't an insult because the Hobbit films are good. It's just, it's kind of like the original Jurassic Park. They were such a monumental, this is something you've never seen before.
Yeah.
This is a whole new world we've created. Yeah, I mean, they took years to make them. It was so immersive. And The Hobbit, several years later, they say, oh, we're going back to Middle-earth with some prequels. It's okay, that'll be cool, but it's not, mind-blowing anymore.
Yeah.
So, for me, only number 9, but still definitely something I think is going to be worth watching. Yeah. Number 8. Hunger Games.
Hunger Games.
Okay, this one, I would say I am expecting this to be the best of the 3.
Part 1? Mockingjay Part 1? Hunger Games 3? Mockingjay Part 1?
That one, yes.
Or Hunger Games 3 Mockingjay Part 2?
Whatever this third one is, we can't figure out the subtitles and stuff.
It's the third installment, but only the first half of it.
Yes, yeah. So it's not going to be a trilogy. It's going to be a 4-part series, I guess, right?
No. It is a trilogy.
Oh, but the books was a trilogy, but they split the third book into 2 parts for film purposes.
Like they did with Twilight and Harry Potter. And
which are also some of my favorites. But I thought, like you said, I thought the second one was better than the first. The first one, I was like, okay, a bunch of people are seeing. I saw it on the 4th or 5th week it was out.
Yeah.
I wasn't rushing out to get it. It didn't look like it's something I'd be interested in.
I
watched it. I thought it was pretty cool. Definitely a little bit different than something we've seen before. J-Law, put a good performance. The second one I thought built on that and gave us some newer, more interesting characters. Mr. Hoffman. Did a good job there. I am obviously looking forward to seeing how they wrap up his role in the film. Definitely something I think is gonna. I would say probably gonna be the biggest box office of this year, just because of the fan support for that.
It's a shoe-in.
Shoe-in. Number 7. Nightcrawler.
Did I not mention that?
You did not, and I was surprised.
It is
that
on
was
my
not
list.
On your list. Did you skip it?
I think I did skip it.
This is what happens when you have a bunch of ties. You get your numbers.
Oh, it was tied at number 4 with Inherent Vice.
This guy.
Okay,
You got caught up talking about your chops.
Yeah. Okay. I'll type out our lists in the comments. So if you're just listening to this on audio, check the YouTube channel for the complete list.
You need to get the visuals for this one.
Yeah.
So yeah, my number 7 is Nightcrawler. This is another one that I think is going to be really awesome. The performance we get from Jake Gyllenhaal is going to be fantastic. You can see a lot of trailers can be misleading, but in this one, no matter how great or how terrible the film ends up being, as far as how they edit it and how the story is told and whether or not it's paced well and all that, you can tell, no doubt, he gives a fantastic performance in this. I would bet money on that.
And we know that because he lost a bunch of weight.
He did. He's thinner, so obviously, just to hand him the Oscar. Oscar, please. Yeah. Nightcrawler. But another one, I didn't put it higher on my list because this is going to be, it's got the creep factor. You're going to leave the film, you're going to leave the theater being like, I need a shower.
Yeah.
You know, that was it. You know what I mean? And because he becomes that guy. So, definitely interested to see how they do that one. Number 6, Gone Girl. Another one I'm looking forward to, not just because of the story. And, again, I don't read. Okay? Reading is for old fogies. Okay. It's a joke. But no, I haven't read the book, but I have heard from a couple people that they hope they change the story, which is something that David Fincher has been known to do in the past with his adaptations. They might change the way they end the story, because in the book, it's somewhat anticlimactic and everything. So we'll see how it goes. Myself and probably a lot of the moviegoers that watch this film won't be super familiar with the material, the source material, but so it'll just be new to us. But I'm also looking forward to it because it'll be just one more bit of ammo to all the Batfleck haters out there.
Oh, yes.
Who are saying,
so
you shouldn't have cast this guy because he's only good at playing Boston roles, you know, and doing this kind of stuff. I'm like, no.
Wait, do your Boston accent again?
Yeah, I do a terrible accent. Ben Affleck is a fantastic actor.
Yeah.
Is he the best in the business today? No, but he is a very good actor, and he's one of these guys who has an on-screen presence. You know, when he's on screen, supporting role, main character, you know, guy walking to the back to Starbucks, doesn't matter. You take notice of him, and that's the kind of presence you need to play Bruce Wayne. So I think more people will become more supportive in the year leading up to Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, once they see this and they're like, wow, that guy gave a really good performance.
It's going to give him some street cred.
I have more confidence in him as Batman.
Yeah.
So anyway, definitely look forward to that.
Yeah. Oh, and they said that they initially said they were going to change the ending. It was like a new creation.
Right.
But then they said like, oh, it's kind of not. You know, it's like a fusion hybrid, our own thing, the book thing. So I think they're just trying to throw us off. I think they do have like a surprise.
Who knows how it ends? I don't even know. I made the film. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe I should read the book.
So, okay, number 5, El Cinco, Exodus.
Wow, we both had...
Is that number 5
for
you too?
Yeah, number 5 too.
Could agree on something. Yeah, I mean, after the unmitigated abomination that was Noah, I'm definitely looking forward to... Don't make faces, you know what I'm talking about.
Did you not like the movie, or was it like the creative choices? Because like he's an artist, and like he just needs to express himself, you know?
We've talked about Noah before. Look back at our previous videos. That was garbage.
It wasn't so great.
Congratulations. But no, this one, I like Joel Edgerton. You know, if you're not familiar with who that is, go rent Warrior. Actually, don't even rent it. Buy it on DVD. You'll love it. It's an awesome film. Him and Tom Hardy do a great job. But he's a great actor. You know what I mean? He's actually been around for a while, and he's one of these guys, when you throw out his name, people are like, who? He's not a household name, but he should be, because he's a guy.
He's going to be,
I don't think I've ever seen him in anything where I was like, he wasn't very good. He doesn't always play these huge tentpole film roles, but him as Ramsey.
This is one.
This is definitely going to be one that people are going to be like, wow, this guy, you know, he's out there. Now, obviously, with some of the casting choices, like, you know, Little Miss Aliens herself.
What? You don't like her? You don't like her as an actress?
You know,
is it because she's a woman?
She's a little too white to be in this role. In the trailer, when you see Sigourney Weaver with the Cleopatra hairdo and makeup and stuff, you're like, Was
It's
that a joke?
Is this a Lady Gaga music video?
Did they put that in there? Like, is that like one of those little snapshots? Like people gonna see if you notice? Like,
is this the Hunger Games? Are we in Pan Am?
She doesn't fit at all visually. Now
that's why they only show her. She's like in the trailer. It's like,
yeah.
Who said that?
She could maybe have a small role. I doubt they would cast Sigourney Weaver as a very small role. She's gonna have some pretty decent lines and some significant presence. But it's just some of that is a little odd. Christian Bale, I think he's a little better at transforming into the role and everything. I could see him playing a Jewish guy. Okay, whatever. You know what I mean? He's got some face hair and
Does it
whatnot.
look like they like pinned up Joel Edgerton's eyes, or is
it does a little bit?
They're all
that could have
wearing
been some of the,
mascara,
it could have been the makeup. I will say this: the poster. You can Google Images or whatever the movie poster.
I'll throw it up right here.
I actually didn't even recognize him at first just from that still.
Yeah, he does look very Egyptian.
Now in the there's like a gold tone kind of filter across the whole image and everything. But if you look at the trailer, you can tell that's him. But he doesn't look too out of place. They shaved his head and put the makeup and the bronzer on him and all this kind of stuff. But that one, I'm rooting for this film.
Yeah.
It could be a huge flop.
It really could be.
It could be like
right
a way too like Americanized. It's everything's whitewashed.
Yeah.
And doesn't seem in any way like
the actual story.
A bunch of explosions and all this kind of stuff. But the last time I saw the trailer, was it before TMNT? It might have been before Turtles. But you're sitting in the big IMAX screen and everything, and you see the wall of water around the Parts of the Red Sea, and a tiny little chariot or the horse there. And I'm just
a little horse hopping around. Oh my gosh.
This is an epic story. It needs to be an epic film. It looks like they've tried to make it an epic film. We'll see if they succeed.
Now, but then again, Ridley Scott, he knows how to make a film look really good. Prometheus?
Yeah.
Look, even like not just the trailers, but the actual movie looked great,
visually
stunning. Yeah, awesome visuals, and that when they're showing that wave coming at you,
looks awesome.
It looks awesome.
Yeah, we'll see if the story
we'll see if
is on par.
If it holds water.
Put it this way: God wrote the original story. He's got a high bar to
Ridley
meet.
Scott wrote this story.
Yeah, so it might not live up to that, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, number El Cuatro, 4 from the Gringos. Interstellar. Now I put this at number 4 for a few reasons, mostly because of what I put in the top 3. But make no mistake, my top 4 are actually very close. And you ask me what are my top 5 in like 3 or 4 days from now, these might actually kind of move around a bit. It was tough picking the order on these. So Interstellar's probably going to be one of, in fact, I would almost bet it's going to be one of the top 5 best movies of the year for 2014. And this is our list from now going forward. We've already had some fantastic films so far this year.
Yeah, these are just our most anticipated movies.
Yeah, so this is another one that Nolan has put out some awesome films. He's obviously got a lot of talent. But it's also sort of getting to that point where he's made so many good ones, you're almost like, isn't he due a stinker? Like, isn't he due a miss?
This is not that.
I don't think that he's going to miss with this one, but then again,
now you're making me doubt myself. He's like 7 for 7. He's made like 7 solid movies.
It has a hint of maybe they tried to go too artsy. Just a hint of that.
Yeah.
Just a hint.
Yeah, with the poetry and...
But here's the thing. That could be just the way they've edited the trailers. Because we've seen that this year so far, too. The trailers could be quite a bit off of what the movie is.
Yeah.
And just from what we vaguely know of the synopsis of the film, there's going to have to be some decent action and some cool sci-fi stuff going on here. So... either way, I would be very surprised if I left the theater disappointed on this film. So you throw a name like Nolan on there, you gotta expect enjoying the film. So looking real forward to that one. Okay, number 3, Fury. I put Fury at 3, which is a lot higher than
I think that's our biggest spread right there.
Well,
I'm
number maybe
9, number 8.
Yeah. So there we go. Kicking the cord here. I'm really looking forward to Fury because, unlike you, I know he said, compared it to the whole Inglorious bleep words thing, but
sorry, kids.
I actually got more of instead of saying a toned down Quentin Tarantino film, I actually looked at it as a harder, kind of edgier Saving Private Ryan type feel to it. I loved Saving Private Ryan. I thought it was a fantastic film. It was rated R also because of the violence and everything. It was very realistic, especially that opening storming beach scene on Normandy.
Oh, yeah.
Very hard to watch, especially, for veterans and somebody who's lived through that. It was very realistic, which is what they went for. On this one, it looks to be a little less of a kind of a soft, kind of sentimental story underwriting what is going on, and it's more of the hard, gritty reality of depending on the guy next to you when you're in a very tough war situation. You see in the trailers, he talks about how, these are the only guys left of his platoon. You've got the young guy in there who's a little wet behind the ears, getting kind of tossed in the deep end, so to speak. The guys all saying, best job I ever had, kind of trying to make light of a tough situation, try to, put some normalcy to it. Michael Pena being in it, I've liked pretty much everything he's been in. He's a very serviceable actor too. He's actually doing like a 3 or 4 part movie series. I just saw advertised the other day. But anyway,
comic book movie?
No. It's like I think it's like a crime drama thing. Anyway, I just saw a brief trailer for it, but he's doing a TV thing for like Fox or FX or something like that. But anyway, I digress.
Fury.
This thing looks fantastic. It definitely looks like it's earning the R rating from a lot of the violence and the blood and everything that we're going to see. But, this is one of those roles that it looks like Brad Pitt is definitely appropriately cast for.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely looking forward to that one. Number 2, Unbroken.
Yeah, this did not make my list at all.
This didn't make his list at all. I'm actually really looking forward to this. I think we've talked about this before on here, maybe.
Yeah, we talked about the trailer.
Yeah.
When it dropped.
Angelina Jolie, I think, is producing. I don't think she's directing it. Is she?
I think this is a director.
Is she directing? Okay. It's her film, basically. This is based on a true story. That is one of these true stories that this exemplifies the truth is stranger than fiction adage. This is a man who started out young in life, kind of bully people, not making the best choices and everything. Kind of a knucklehead. Then gets a little disciplined, straightens his life out, gets very focused, becomes an Olympic champion, gold medalist in the Olympics, which in and of itself could be its own movie, right? We've seen that before, struggle,
we have
dedication,
that
all that
very
kind of stuff. All of a sudden, you're a world champion. Close to credits. But no, that's actually
right now?
No, because this is all historical stuff. Okay, and if you don't know this,
but is it going to be in the movie though?
Oh yeah. This is all this is all backup stuff.
Okay.
But the guy goes, and plus this is all in the trailer.
Okay.
But he wins a gold medal. Okay, Olympic gold medalist. Enlists in the military, serves his country in World War II.
Life on the line.
Okay. Castaway, him and several of his compatriots are floating out to sea for I think it's like 47 days that he has to survive out there.
Cannibalism.
Obviously, a lot of struggles go there. Then he's a prisoner of war in Japanese internment camps. Okay.
John Rambo.
Getting Japanese. It's a Vietnamese. It's racist.
Oh yeah. Different generation.
Okay. Then he's tortured in there, and it's an amazing story of the determination and the unbreakable spirit that this guy has.
He said it.
It's fantastic. And this is a Christmas release. This is one that there's several Christmas release days this year. Actually, quite big ones.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a pretty chock full day. You might have to tell the family, hey, we'll open presents tomorrow. We need to get to the theater early.
Because we're going to be there all day long.
Yes, 3, 4, back to back. But seriously, this is one that that honestly looks like it's going to be an uplifting story that you're going to want to see with the family. Maybe some parts not appropriate for the kids, a little tough to watch, but overall the story being told really encouraging and inspiring. So
it's pretty PG-13, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it is.
It seems like it might be a little like the actual story looks like. The movie looks like it might be way more tame than the actual story.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when you're talking about being in a prisoner of war camp, the stuff you go through there is just barbaric and tremendously horrible.
I want you don't. So, it doesn't look like they're gonna go there.
No, it's gonna be the torturing and everything. It's gonna be obviously toned down for a wider audience.
This looks like a movie that they're gonna show in in school.
Right.
Like in a history class, like in high school.
Well, I don't know if it'd be that tame. I guess it depends what school district you're in, but
that's PG-13, so 13-year-olds.
But yeah, definitely something I'm looking forward to, and hopefully it will not disappoint. And my number one, American Sniper. Now, he disagrees with me on the order, but if you've watched this before, I'm a big fan of
the military,
sporting the military, and I had my Legend shirt on a couple reviews ago. We went over that as far as what that entails. Chris Kyle is an American hero. He is referred to as the American Sniper. He is America's deadliest sniper, quite literally. Over 150 confirmed kills, deadliest sniper in American military history. And
the world, right?
I don't know about the world, but I mean definitely in American history. I'd have to look at some because there was a guy I think referred to as the White Death. He was from like Finland or something back in like World War I or II.
Okay.
I think he killed like 300 or 400 guys.
The White Death.
Yeah, he would hide in the snow. Obviously, he's all snow, white camo and everything, and he was just killing people like crazy. But I'd have to. I think he's called the White Death. Anyway. But no, I don't think he got the world record or whatever. But in U.S. military history, most confirmed kills, which if you understand, sniper confirmed kill numbers and everything, over 150 is like crazy high. Okay, and the guy's relatively young. Okay, unfortunately, he passed away a year before this one. He was killed in a very unfortunate incident. But
the movie was already in development before he died, right?
It's roughly based on the book
his autobiography.
Yes, which I think was completed but wasn't published until after he died. If I got my timeline right. But anyway, one of these things that like you said, Bradley Cooper is playing the title role, Chris Kyle, which we've talked about before from the stills we've seen with the facial hair and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Looks very much
he looks
the part. Clint Eastwood directing, which is another one, not only because Clint Eastwood is a very skilled director, but also because these are a couple of guys that have a passion for this and actually care about this. I've talked to Josiah a couple times about there's been a little behind the scenes stuff going on, little stories here and there, little photos leaked on and shown on Facebook and social media where Marines and other servicemen have been visiting the set and giving like advice and things like this, and they've done a lot of support for the military community. So this is something that is going to have a very, I think, authentic feel to it. It's not going to be all Hollywoodized. You know what I mean? If you liked Lone Survivor with Mark Wahlberg, I think this is going to have a very similar feel to it as far as the authenticity of the story. So I'm very much looking forward to that. That would be my number one. That's another one also, I believe, which is a Christmas release, actually. Isn't it?
I think it goes wide on Christmas. I think it actually comes like limited release before that.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely something we're looking at, looking into before the end of the year. A couple of honorable mentions, and one of mine is going to be Birdman. Also looking forward to that one.
How did that not make your list?
It was tough with some of these. And again, same with the honorable mentions. These all are like just barely didn't make the cut. But Birdman, I think, is going to look cool. That one, Edward Norton, love watching him. The score. I mean, American History X, all of his stuff. He's fantastic in. Michael Keaton. I mean, he was kind of a silly character in Need for Speed. being the guy organizing the races. But he's fantastic.
He was great. I really liked him in Need for Speed. I liked him.
I mean, the way he portrayed it, he's kind of a silly character, but I mean, the way he portrayed it was great.
But he brought something to that movie. Like that movie, it wasn't enough to pull that movie.
It was a silly movie
at all. But
the captain and the other guys, where he's Captain Gene.
Hilarious. And this movie,
hilarious.
This movie, I think, is the dark comedy.
Yeah, it looks like it's kind of like his struggle with losing his notoriety and his fame and everything, and there's obviously some issues with his daughter.
And I think there's going to be like some dream sequences or something.
It's like either that or hallucinations. Just judging from the trailer, some of it's like, wait, is he flying? What's going on?
Yeah,
he's got maybe some mental instabilities, but it definitely looks darker, but also entertaining. So that's one I'm looking forward to. Left Behind. That's another honorable mention.
I forgot.
The Nick Cage one. If any of y'all have seen the Left Behind, obviously it was a book series, and then they did movie adaptations for several of them.
There's a man outside with a bomb.
with Kirk Cameron in them back in like the 80s or 90s that he did those.
90s,
It was 90s, so Nick Cage is doing another one. Watching the trailer, it kind of gave me that
Direct to DVD.
Knowing film that he did where he had the sun and they found the thing with the numbers on it and there's all these things happening.
Knowing?
Yeah, I think it's just called Knowing.
Okay.
But it was sort of that feel where everybody gets kind of raptured, but then it was like aliens or something. Spoiler alert, it was like 8 years ago, whatever.
Okay.
But anyway.
And M. Night Shyamalan is directing this movie?
No.
That would have been great.
No. That would have made it terrible.
That would have been so hilarious, though.
But, no, it definitely looks like it's a lower budget film. But, people like to rag on Nick Cage because he's been in some goofy movies, but Nick Cage has been in a ton of films. He's gotten a lot of award nominations and won quite a few. He's a very skilled actor.
He is a good actor.
Just because he's got some crazy hot mess going on in his personal life and everything, he's had some tax issues and all this, and so he has to take the $15 movies. You know what I mean? He is a very good actor, and I like watching him. And the story, The Left Behind, is an interesting film story. It's visually, it's very impressive. So I'm looking forward to that one.
He was in that movie Joe. Did you ever see that movie? Really small, low budget movie.
No, I don't think so.
Where he's like kind of like a homeless guy, and it's like in the woods and stuff.
No, I don't think so.
No, I heard he was really good in that.
Well, yeah,
and he wasn't all like
he
wasn't like normal Nick Cage, crazy Cage.
Okay, Dumb and Dumber 2. Surprised you didn't mention that one.
I'm surprised you did mention that one.
This is an honorable mention. Definitely wasn't going to be on the top 10, but I am looking forward to it because I'm holding out hope that they're not going to ruin this great second chance of recapturing the magic of the first. The first one, it's not a thinking man's movie, but it's good, silly fun, and it wasn't as obnoxious as the Ace Ventura ones. It was, I think, some of the best comedy that Jim Carrey ever did. You know what I mean?
Really?
I really do. I thought it was some of his best comedy because it was not too obnoxious. It wasn't too stupid. It was something that a wide age range could look at and be like, that's funny.
Yeah, it was stupid in an intelligent way.
It was, and Jeff Daniels. Seeing Jeff Daniels and the caliber of actor that Jeff Daniels is, and seeing him get that stupid is just hilarious. Yeah. When serious actors don't mind making themselves look foolish, that's always entertaining.
I mean, we're gonna see this movie.
Yeah, no matter what.
It just doesn't look like it's going to do what you're.
I could be totally wrong. This could be terrible, and I could walk out halfway through it.
It looks like it might be bad, but I'm
keeping the fingers crossed.
That's why I didn't make my list.
And then my other one, The Equalizer. That was an honorable mention. Didn't make my top 10, but definitely looking forward to it. It's coming out in like a couple weeks, I think. It's coming up pretty close.
So that's your number 11?
That would be one of my honorable mentions.
So that's like your number 11. Yeah, it was my number 10, so we're only one away on that.
Yeah, sure. But another good Denzel Washington. Doesn't look terribly imaginative and original, but sometimes people do bad things. You got to take care of business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shoot some people, blow some stuff up.
I mean, Taken. It'd be cool is if Liam Neeson was in this movie.
Nah.
Oh, you know what movie I forgot to mention? That movie with Liam Neeson. That's coming out where he's like a detective or something.
What's that called?
It's called like it's
Taken 3.
It's got like several words. Yeah, basically, it's like Taken 3 meets Man on Fire meets The Equalizer.
Taken 3, The Takener. I don't know, something.
The Takenist.
There you go.
Most Taken.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So those were one one honorable mention I forgot to mention is The Interview with Seth Rogen and James Franco and James Franco. He's in it twice. But yeah, it looks pretty. The trailer didn't. I wasn't like, man, it's gonna be so good and so hilarious. But I mean, just judging up their past works are pretty good. So.
Well, you were talking about the movies that got standing ovations. How many movies on our list got a threat from the leader of North Korea? Kim Jong-un got personally offended by the trailer of this movie. Yeah. So that's some notoriety right there.
Yeah, and apparently they were using like real military patches.
Yeah, they didn't like that.
And so like Sony is like going back and like digitally
like, oh, we can't do that. It's got to be obviously fake, because otherwise some people outside of North Korea might be stupid enough to think that this was real.
I don't know. They're probably just trying to save themselves more. But this PR is...
Kim Jong-un's crazy, just to make it clear.
But anyway, that was our most anticipated fall 2014 movies.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us what your favorite movies are in the comments. And now on to the next portion, which is the news. Very slow for news this week. Not much is going on here. Let's see what we've got. Oh, Ben Affleck is directing a movie. It's coming out, actually. It's going to be in direct competition with Batman v Superman. Just kidding, it's not.
Oh, does it take some of the profits away?
Actually, I think it will be in theaters around the same time. It's coming out in 2016.
Right.
And it's called Live by Night. Actually, I just realized I don't know if it's Live or Live by Night.
I think it's Live by Night.
Okay. Well, you never know. You know, English.
We're very well researched on this movie news.
But the book, what's the premise of this?
I don't know.
You were just telling me about the book, remember?
No, it's based on a book. I don't know what the book's about.
In the 20s? You said you knew about this.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I haven't read the book, obviously. I don't read books. But
you've heard things.
I've heard things.
The word on the street
is... This is basically... He's going back to his comfort zone, which is...
Boston.
Okay, it's Boston. But no, basically he's raised up to be kind of straight-laced kid. I think like his dad is a cop or something like that.
Oh, is Ben Affleck playing the lead as well?
Yeah, he gets entangled with the wrong people, as one does. And
in the 20s.
In the 20s, Prohibition era type stuff.
Flappers.
Gets into they were also there. Gets into
women
a life
voting.
of crime. It's not really a central theme there. But he gets into a life of crime, becomes essentially kind of like a mob boss, a fairly high-ranking guy. And my understanding is the law enforcement authorities of the time, I don't know if it's local or FBI or whatever, but they see him as such a problem, shooting up people with his Tommy gun and whatnot, that they essentially take out a task force and say, okay, top priority, we've got to stop these guys. And they come down on crime so hard that the other criminals, his sort of competition, if you will, start to go after him to assist the cops because they're tired of all the heat that they're getting. So the cops in this one are kind of not even the main antagonist against our anti-hero mob boss.
Mob v mobster, huh?
Basically, yeah. So it's basically a Boston crime drama set in the 20s.
Yeah, and his dad is the chief of police, I believe.
I think so. Yeah, there's a family conflict there. So
yeah. At least in the book. This is just the book.
This is from what I've heard.
We have no idea what the movie's about.
We could be totally wrong.
It might just be a name only and take a totally different turn. But sounds interesting. We know he does movies. His movies in Boston do great.
He can do the accent.
Well, actually, he should. If he needs to go back to the Middle East, because that's where his biggest success. Yeah. That's where his biggest success has been. But okay.
I don't think the Middle East existed in the 20s.
Now, also this week, The Rock Well, this is
Dwayne.
you probably already know about this, but The Rock confirmed that he's going to be playing Black Adam
Yeah,
in
I
the
think we talked
Shazam
about that
movie.
last week.
Yeah, we did.
But this week the news was
That it's going to be New Line Cinema, Warner Brothers subsidiary, is going to be distributing the movie, and I mean it's essentially Warner Brothers, but it's one of their like sister studios is doing it, and they sort of hinted that this may not be in the same cinematic universe as the other DC movies. They did not confirm this, but they said it's going to.
Even though a lot of people are saying confirmed.
Yeah. They didn't actually say that it is going to be in a separate universe, but they said that it's going to have a tone unto itself, and it's going to be different than their other DC movies, and definitely I believe they actually said different from Marvel movies as well. So
yeah, it's not going to be because all the Marvel films, no matter which one it is, have a very fun tone to them.
Yeah.
We've already known for a couple weeks now that the quote no jokes.
That rumor.
Theme of the DC Batman v Superman universe with Wonder Woman and all their offshoots are going to be more serious in tone, which I'm totally cool with. That seems fine. This one, they're saying Shazam is going to be a fun guy. He's going to be a fun character. It's going to be a fun world that he's in.
Yeah.
So the question now is DC actually going to have two cinematic universes, which, let's be honest, would be pretty ambitious.
Well, we already know they're planning on having at least two.
Well, we know that they're going to have their
properties.
main ones, and then they're going to have other films that are not going to be attached to it. And that's the thing. Is this going to be another one of those films it's one or two or three films of this character, just him, in his own little world that doesn't have anything to do with it? Or are they going to say, okay, there's Shazam and Black Adam, and who else can we bring into this and have a conglomerate universe along with another step one? I don't know that they're going to do that.
So, like, bring in other DC characters that they don't want to associate with the Justice League,
right? If they say, okay, we didn't like the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern film, but we like the fact that we did a Green Lantern that was more fun and jovial. So let's have a Green Lantern, but not in the Batman Superman world. Let's have him in the Shazam world. They could do that.
Not with Green Lantern, but you're talking about like a smaller
another character. Well, they could recast him. I mean, I'm sure we'll see Green Lantern again at some point on the film, on the big screen. But
so are you saying they obviously have the potential to have two of the same characters in both cinematic universes?
No. I'm saying instead of putting him in like the
just like
we're assuming we're going to get a Flash movie, but the Flash isn't confirmed in Batman v Superman or Justice League.
True.
So the Flash could be in the same universe as Shazam.
Maybe so.
You know what I mean? Because he's been done as a jokey kind of character. Yeah, I don't want to see that. I would want him to hang out with
Justice
Batman
League. In the Watchtower.
But that's another thing that I've seen several people talking about is what if they go with, and comic book nerds will understand this. In comic books, a lot of different, and Marvel's done it, DC's done it, a lot of other publishing houses have done it. They sometimes do this kind of multiverse type trick where they'll say there's an Earth 2 and Earth 3 or Infinite Earths and all this kind of stuff. There's a series known as Crisis, Infinite Earth series.
Yeah.
There's these different ones where essentially Shazam could be in a universe where Superman and Batman don't exist.
On his world,
dimension. Yeah, like they're not there, and then someone comes in and opens up a portal into another realm, and all of a sudden, Mr. Jokey Shazam over there and Black Adam, yucking it up as they're duking it out, come over, and all of a sudden are in overcast, rainy Gotham where everybody's glum and serious, and they're like, "What's going on here?" There could be something like that. I actually would really like to see them
bring Shazam into the...
Bring it in down the line and say, okay, we're building up Batman v Superman, expanding it out, Justice
Batman,
League,
Superman,
couple offshoot movies. We've got a fan base, we've got a world we've created, and simultaneously we've got a couple others
Shazam is like his own franchise unto himself.
Once he gets popular, crossover film.
Yeah.
I think that would be cool because ever since Marvel's gotten big and with the Avengers and everything, everybody's talking about Civil War. Because of all the different licensing and property rights problems, you're never going to see that.
With Marvel, yeah.
With them. But you could do
yeah.
that with this if they go that route. I don't know if they will, but that would be fantastic.
Well, here's a more realistic route. Seeing Shazam, if they do like an interdimensional crossover,
right,
where Shazam is in a different universe than the rest of the Justice League, what more realistically, I think you could see Shazam show up in one of the solo DC character movies,
right,
like a Wonder Woman or a Flash movie, or maybe like I think he would work good in like a Green Lantern movie,
right,
or maybe a Superman movie.
Sure, well,
whatever, you know.
And the thing also is, we're talking about. We're picking this all apart from a couple of sentences. So let's be clear. These are just a couple of lines that directors and industry insiders.
We're just throwing around ideas from Warner Brothers. Feel free to take whatever of these ideas you want.
Not going to charge you much. But here's the thing. When it comes to the tone that you're creating for a series of movies, when you talk about no jokes, it's going to be serious. They're going to have comedic elements in there. And if you go with a jokey movie where it's a lot more fun and lighthearted and yucking it up a bit, there's still going to be very serious parts in there where lives are on the line and there's a lot to lose, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So having a crossover movie down the line where maybe they're not actively in each other's films and we don't treat them like they're in the same universe, but having a film down the line where, let's say, a Batman or a Superman, Man of Steel 2 or 3 comes along, and Shazam 2 or Shazam 3 or whatever comes along, and him and Black Adam with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson come in, and they're in the same film. Well, you could have kind of a happy medium where it's a little bit lighter than a typical Man of Steel movie, but darker than a regular Shazam movie. And so it's not so odd that it seems like you're combining oil and water. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah,
so it's still doable. On something like that, to me, is easy to script out, but the difficulty there is in the direction, because you're going to have to get into the subtleties of how serious and lighthearted the actors are portraying each scene.
I think we'll have a better idea if they would even consider doing that after we see Justice League, and how serious is it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, because if this is coming out in 2017, I think they were saying. Yeah. So
projected.
We're gonna have Man of Steel, or Batman v Superman, excuse me.
2016.
In 2016, in 2017, probably Justice League, followed by Wonder Woman. That summer is what it's assumed. Is probably the Wonder Woman release.
Yeah.
So we're going to have, a total of actually 4 movies, including the original Man of Steel. We're going to have 4 total movies in this universe. So we'll have a real good idea of what this world is like when Shazam comes along. So we'll either see that, no, this is night and day, there's no way these are ever going to cross the streams, or it's going to be like, okay, this is something that could fit in there. These characters are just a little lighter. Yeah,
I'm thinking if they try to strike like the tone that Guardians of the Galaxy had with Shazam, I think that's a good. It's on the lighter side, but it's not like so. It's not too crazy, but there's a lot of fun in there. You know?
Yeah, because what are they going to do with Doctor Strange? That's not going to be as funny and lighthearted as like an Ant-Man is.
Well, I think it might actually end up being.
You think so?
Yeah.
Man, that's gonna be tough though.
I think they might. I'm just guessing, but they're probably gonna have Doctor Strange be really serious, and they're gonna have the people around him be more lighter joking, like what they do in Thor. Thor is not. He's not cracking jokes.
No.
But they have characters in the film that are, like. Yeah. That one broke girl, and her, like Natalie Portman's kind of jokey, and then her wacky assistant, and then she has a wacky assistant now, the British guy.
Yeah, but
you see what I'm saying? Like I think it's going to end up being something like that.
But think about it, isn't that what they did in Green Lantern? Because
no, Ryan Reynolds was like a. He was like a Chris Pratt type of a.
But look at the people around him. The brain guy, what's his name? That his head exploded or whatever. He was deadly serious all the time.
Yeah.
And the big fart cloud, Galactus or not Galactus, Parallax.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is
he was all serious all the time. So I think
that's what I'm saying. But Ryan Reynolds wasn't serious. And so that's what brought the balance. So I think I think Doctor Strange.
But getting that balance is like you have to, for whatever tone you're going with, you're gonna have to have your supporting characters. Because in Man of Steel, Clark Kent and Superman, he wasn't real jokey. There was lighthearted kind of funny elements around it, but they weren't real jokey.
Just very sparse, yeah. Very sparse.
I mean, it was, and that's why the tone of the film was very consistent throughout, I thought.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Fairly serious,
yeah.
You know? I think they took a page from The Dark Knight, trying to make it feel more like Nolan's Batman movies, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
which have
more grounded and realistic, sort of.
And very, very few and far between, like, lighthearted moments.
Yeah.
Like, it gets lighter, but it never gets, like, funny, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, you know, Marvel has an established brand, and so I think they're going to be leery to deviate too far from the feel that their movies have, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think we're probably going to end up like kind of like a Thor-type character where he's very serious, but his surrounding characters aren't too serious.
You're talking about Stephen Strange.
Yeah, I think Doctor Strange might end up being more like Thor.
Well, we'll see. But anyway, that's what we feel about Shazam.
Yeah. We got sidetracked. There's no rules here. There's no rules.
It's a Monday.
We're free. We're free to be ourselves, and you are too.
Within reason.
Yeah, it's a family show.
So.
So now on to the trailers of the week. There are probably more trailers than this drop, but
slow week.
Yeah. We got a new Gone Girl TV spot. And what I liked about this trailer is they, like, the narration. I like the narration in it.
Yeah.
They bring in, like, they have, like, different people talking all back to back.
Yeah.
And even what the people are saying, like, you can tell the story is going to, like, really mess with you and you're not going to know what to believe while you're watching the movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you got the wife saying, "Oh, I love my husband." Then at the end, she's like, "Oh, I think he might kill me." And then Ben Affleck is like, "You're like, oh, did he do it?" And then, oh, now then you see him looking for like at suspicious characters.
Yeah.
And then you got suspicious characters, and like, oh, Neil Patrick Harris knew her, and then you get the police, you know, and it's like, it's getting all convoluted and stuff, and I like it.
Yeah, it's definitely, you know from the get-go, if you don't like twists, stay home. Like, this is going to be chock full of them. You're always going to be second-guessing. You know, you'll have the smart aleck know-it-all guys in the theater. 3 minutes in, I bet what's-his-name did it. You know what I mean? I figured it out or whatever. And then a third of the way through, they're like, I don't want to say anything, but I don't think that guy did it. You know what I mean? So it's... This trailer, you know, a lot of the scenes are what we've seen before. You know, it's some recycled footage, not a whole lot of new stuff. But the way it was edited together,
it gave you that sense of
unknowing. You kind of get a little bit better feel for the story. I definitely, and we've talked about this before, I don't want to see more than this because it's like,
this is kind of
don't give away too much.
This is one of those stories that like probably only good once.
Yeah, I mean, once you know what happened or whatever, but it's definitely, you can tell this is going to be a very much a kind of psychological delving into the mind of, okay, why is this person this way? What's making, I mean, you know, what's his name? Almost said Big Mama. Tyler Perry.
He's in it,
He's like a shrink.
Or a lawyer, I think.
I thought he was the psychiatrist.
Anyway, I heard him giving legal advice.
Yeah,
he's like, the only way that they can get to you is if they have a conviction.
Yeah, because I think he's like the analyzing. I think because from one of the other trailers, I thought they said he was a psychiatrist. But anyway, you know, there's going to be a lot of psychoanalysis on this thing, and definitely, if you haven't seen any of the trailers yet, go on look at the latest trailer. Just watch that. And you will see this is something that looks like it's going to be a pretty special film. So.
Yeah. And then the other trailer is I totally forgot the name of it now.
Edit.
Yeah, I'm editing this out right now.
The Joel Edgerton
Felony.
One? Yes, Felony. The one I sent you.
Yeah. Why didn't you say the name?
I was going to let you flounder for a little bit. You know?
Well, Felony. Joel Edgerton.
Ramses from Exodus, for those of you who don't know.
Now, if you had to describe... Yeah. And if you had to describe this movie in one word, what would it be?
Felony-rific? Is that a word? No?
Sure. There's no rules here.
I mean, I would say...
I thought you were going to say...
Heavy. I would say heavy.
Oh, yeah.
This film looks heavy. I mean, you definitely watch the trailer. this is kind of unique in that it's not a whodunit. Go through the movie, figure out, oh, did he really do it?
Like Gone Girl.
Right from
the opposite.
Yeah, right from the beginning, he did it. You know he did it. He admits it did it. The problem is he's trying to get out of, he's trying to get away with something, a mistake that he made, kill somebody, as one does, and essentially tries to get out of it and then kind of regrets it. And it's basically, the film's about the kind of internal struggle that he has of the sort of moral dilemma that he faces.
And then it looks like it's going to be kind of a thriller of him trying to cover up his tracks constantly.
Yeah.
And
Jai Courtney's tracking him down, gonna get his man.
Jai Courtney, you probably know him as the guy with the mohawk in Divergent.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that? He had like tattoos on his temples and stuff.
Well, he was also one of the bad guys in...
Die Hard from Russia with Love.
Live Free or Die Hard?
No, that's not what it was called. It was called Die Hard from Russia or something like that.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't called
It
Live
was
Free
the
or
last
Die Hard.
one.
The last one, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Live Free or Die Hard was the fourth.
The fourth
This
one.
is the fifth one.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah.
It was number 5. And
with Bruce Willis.
Yeah, and Jai Courtney.
The one in Russia, whatever. He was in that as Bruce Willis' son.
Yeah.
And then, but no, the one with Tom Cruise. Reacher. Yeah.
Jack Reacher?
Yeah, Jack Reacher. Jai Courtney was in that one. He was the main bad guy with the messed up fingers that he bit off.
Oh, that's right.
His guy.
That was a very small role he had.
He was, he was a little more subdued character.
Jack Reacher, that's a totally underrated film. Go watch that movie.
Yeah.
If you want to watch a cool crime drama. But it also has Tom Wilkinson in it. I have only ever seen him in Batman Begins as Falcone. Falcone. And apparently that guy's actually British. Which you can't tell from that movie.
He's another guy. He's a lot like Brian Cox. If you're an American and you're watching just regular old American films, you might not recognize the name, but you'll recognize the face because he's been in a lot of films.
Yeah.
And he's always kind of a B-level supported character and whatnot, but always very
believable.
He's always he's a good character actor.
Now, if I had to describe this movie in one word, it would be British. This is one of those movies where you're like, man, I feel like tense things are happening, but I need some subtitles. You know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of feeling I got from this trailer. Because even
A Good Day to Die Hard.
A Good Day to Die Hard from Russia.
Got it. It's not a James Bond film.
But that movie was terrible.
It was the weakest of the Die Hards. Well, I don't know. Die Hard 2 was pretty bad.
Die Hard? You didn't like Die Hard 2? At the airport?
At the airport? No. That was a tremendous drop-off from the first one. Again, going down a rabbit hole here, getting off topic.
Well, I've liked all of them except for that one.
Yeah,
I straight up did not like it. But anyway.
Really? Wow.
Not because of Jai Courtney.
I kind of okay liked it. It definitely didn't excite me.
Not because of Jai Courtney. But anyway, back to Felony. Yeah, so Tom Wilkinson is like... knows that he did it and is trying to help him out and stuff.
Yeah, he's trying to help him get away with it.
Yeah. But what was that line that you liked at the very end?
Oh, yeah. He says, I'm probably going to butcher this, but he basically says, because he's trying to convince him that you don't need to...
Turn yourself in.
Yeah, you need to get away with this because it says prison is for the expletives, let's say jerks, who don't get punished up here, not for you. He's basically saying you feel badly about this. You have tremendous guilt weighing on you, and because of that,
that's your punishment.
You don't deserve to be punished by going to jail. He's giving the guy a rationalization so that he'll feel okay with getting away with it because they're both basically invested in this cover up that Jai Courtney is gonna get him for. So it's very much kind of a psychoanalysis of how to handle this and like what would you do if you did something terrible? It was total accident.
Yeah, total accident.
And you kind of got away with it. You had the opportunity to get away with it. Would you turn yourself in? Would you go to jail?
Yeah. Well, it looks like he covers it up from the get go.
Yeah.
From the trailer.
From the trailer. It's hard to tell if he tried to cover it up or that it was like the opportunity was presented to cover it up, and he didn't fight it, kind of thing. And but you can tell he's not like this criminal, like professional bad guy. He's not doing it on purpose. He's a good person. But he just, it's a tough moral dilemma.
It looks like it's going to be an interesting thinker. Yeah. It also looks like it's going to be really suspenseful, like when he's trying to cover things up and stuff. Oh, yeah. It sort of reminded me of The Next 3 Days. Did you ever see that?
Yeah, where they're like trying to get out of prison or something.
Yeah, Jor-El is trying to break his wife out of... Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe is trying to break his wife out of prison. Because he knows she didn't do it.
And he had the bumper key. I remember that one. We had to, like, notch it, remember?
Oh, yeah. He had the bumper key and stuff.
I remember that.
But, it's not, like, super action-packed, but, like, it was very... that movie was very suspenseful.
Suspenseful throughout.
Like, kind of like a slow
burn.
Like, subtle suspense, you know?
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, shoot, I hope he doesn't look under that.
Oh, he's coming around the corner. Don't make any moves.
Oh, yeah. Stuff like that. Yeah, stuff like that. So it looks like it's going to be that kind of suspense and stuff.
Classic.
But this one looks like it's going to be more of a thinker than Next 3 Days. Next 3 Days was... They could have cut, like, a solid, 45 minutes out of that movie.
Yeah, it was a pretty slow burn.
A little too slow. But this looks like it's going to be a good, nice...
Almost went out.
Yeah. A nice burn and a lot of British accents.
Yeah.
All right, well, that'll do it for us this week. Thank you for watching. If you want to download an audio-only version of this podcast, you can get that on SoundCloud right now. And that'll do it for us. Follow me on the Facebook, the Twitter, the Instagram, Josiah Sandu. Daniel, where can people find you at?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Daniel Smith AP2, or on Facebook if you just search for Daniel Smith. I'm the only one there.
Also, check out my Tumblr, check out my MySpace, check out my Foursquare. Also, I've got an Etsy account. So yeah, check me out, and we will see you later.
Forgot Grindr.